it's Hannah here from Hand Done Crochet, and today I'm with you to show you how to make this square motif. It's called the Rialto square that I designed for the Friendship Cal that's going on right now. So it's March 2021 and it's running until April, but the patterns will all be free indefinitely on my blog. But if you want to join in the Cal and it's still in that time zone, then I'll pop the link in the description and you can find out how to join. We're challenging everyone to learn new things, make lots of squares with us. There's 40 different designs and we'd love for you to join. So I use Scheepjes Cahlista, which is 100% cotton Aran, to make my square, but you can use whatever yarn you'd like to, because I suppose it depends what you decide ultimately to make your squares into. If you want to make a nice good sized blanket, then an Aran weight yarn would be perfect for this. You'll also need a 5mm crochet hook, or the hook that meets the gauge for the pattern, a pair of scissors, a yarn needle and some stitch markers might be helpful. So I'm going to take you through first how to make this middle section here in the lighter yarn, which is work back and forth in rows and has a kind of cable effect on it, but is much simpler than it looks, I promise. And then to finish it, we go round in the darker yarn for the border. And the great thing about this is that if you have met the gauge for your other squares with this main section, then that's fine. You can just leave it there, or you can add a border, add more rows to the border. You can just make it as big as you need it to be to fit with your other squares. Throughout the tutorial, I will speak in US crochet terms, and you will need to know how to crochet a single crochet, a double crochet, and a treble or triple crochet. People call them different things. And then for the border, we'll be working some front post and back post stitches in half double crochets. So I've switched my yarn and I'm going to go for the darker yarn for the center of this motif to show you. And you're going to make a slip knot on your hook, and then we're going to chain 26. So when you've done your 26 chains, we're now going to work back across those chains to work our first row, which is going to be a single crochet in the second chain from the hook and each along. So I like to work in the back bumps of my chain. So as the chain faces you here, you've got this V, but then if you turn it over, you've got this back bump here, and that just makes a slightly neater bottom edge, I think. So that's the second chain from the hook, and then you're going to do a single crochet in each chain to the end now. So now we've got 25 single crochets for the first row. For row 2, which is going to be the right side of our work, we're going to begin by chaining 2, and that doesn't count as a stitch. We're then going to work a double crochet into that very first stitch, and then we're going to skip 2 stitches and work a treble crochet, so a long stitch, into the next stitch away. So it's the third stitch away from your hook that you're looking for, and you yarn over twice and insert and pull up a loop, and then complete that long stitch. And so now we need to work into these 2 skip stitches that we have, but we're going to work behind this long stitch. So it is a bit fiddly to start with, but once you've done it once or twice, you'll be absolutely fine. So you yarn over, you're going to work a double crochet into each of these stitches. So yarn over and then go behind that stitch. And then I find it better to turn your work so you can see where you are now. And then you just complete that double crochet normally behind the long stitch that you've made. And then the second one is sometimes easier because you've already moved everything. And then the long stitch pops back in front of them. And then we're going to work a double crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to skip the next stitch I'm going to work a double crochet into the next 2. And now we're going to work another long treble stitch in front of these 2 stitches you've just made into that skip stitch. So this one is a bit more fiddly because you need to get your hook right into this space here so that the stitch sits in front. But the more you do, the easier it gets, I promise. Like that. And then we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to repeat this 7 stitch portion here. So we're going to do that long treble stitch, 3 away from your hook, work 2 double crochet in the skip stitches, behind that long stitch, then double crochet in the next, skip the next stitch and work a double crochet into the next 2, and then working in front of those and into your skip stitch. My words aren't working this morning, nor are my hands. Work your treble stitch there, a double crochet into the next stitch, and then the final repeat, we're going to treble crochet into the 3rd away from your hook, double crochet into the 2 skip stitches, double crochet into the next, skip the next stitch, double crochet into the next 2, treble crochet into that skip stitch, working in front of your stitches, and then we're going to double crochet into that very last stitch in the row. So you should still have 25 stitches, and you'll have 3 repeats of this little cable pattern here. We're going to turn our work, and then for row 3, you'll be pleased to hear it's much easier. We just chain 1, which doesn't count, and then you're going to work a single crochet into each stitch along, so 25 stitches along the row. And so now we've completed row 3, we turn, and it's easy to see that this is the right side of your work because you've got your little cables here. And so rows 2 and 3 that we have just worked create the pattern, and you're going to repeat that seven more times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more times, and then break your yarn, and I'll meet you back here and we'll work the border together. So now we've completed that middle section, we're ready to do the border in our contrast colour, or the same colour if you'd like to, but we're going to start by having the right side facing us, and you're going to work all the way around this square. So you're going to join to the, I'll say top right hand corner, but obviously if you're left-handed it will be the opposite side, but with your right side facing, join to work along the last row you just finished basically, and we're going to chain 1, and then you're going to work a half double crochet in each of the stitches along. So for this edge we'll have 25 stitches. So once you've completed those 25, we're going to now chain 2, and that's going to be a bit of a turning space for us, a bit of a corner. And now we're going to rotate and work along the edges of our rows, and we're going to do 25 half double crochet evenly along the side here. And so when you've made those 25 stitches, we're now going to chain 2 again for our next corner, and you're going to rotate, and now you've got the foundation chain facing you, and you're going to work a half double crochet into each of those stitches, so another 25. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but it's just started raining here really, really hard. I'm sorry if you can hear that. So now we're at the corner again, and we're going to chain 2 and then rotate to work along this final side here, and we need another 25 half double crochet. So at the end of those 25 half double crochet, you're going to chain 2 for that final corner, and then slip stitch in the first stitch to join. So for round 2, which is the final round, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to front post half double crochet around that first stitch, and then back post half double crochet around the next, and so now we're going to repeat those 2 stitches, a front post half double crochet and a back post half double crochet along this row until we get to the last stitch, which will be another front post half double crochet. So a front post and a back post. And so now we're at the last stitch of that section before our corner, and we're going to do a final front post stitch around that, and then into your corner chain 2 we're going to work a half double crochet, a chain 1 and a half double crochet all into that chain 2 space, and that helps you turn the corner nicely. And so then we carry on all the way around, repeating what we've just done: front post, back post, front post, back post, and your front post in that final one, and then your half double crochet, chain 1 and half double crochet into your chain 2 corner. When you get to the end, you'll slip stitch into your first stitch to join, and then just weave in your ends and block it lightly, and you're all finished. I really hope that you've enjoyed the tutorial and that it's been helpful. If you're joining along with the cow, then please come and find me on Facebook and our community group and show us your squares. We would love to see them, and we would love to see what you decide to make with them. As I say, the pattern will be free forever on the blog, and you can also download the PDF for free until the end of the cow, so that's in the middle of April 2021. Thank you for joining me. It would be great if you subscribed and tapped the bell button to find out when I release new tutorials and videos too.